Good evening. This is Kenny Tan. I'm very pleased and excited to be here to be live streaming with you guys on the April 2021 Real Estate Market Update Southern California edition. Tonight we are live streaming to 5 different platforms, 2 on YouTube channel, 2 on Facebook, and 1 on Twitch. On YouTube, we have our The Real Biz Academy, which is our official training channel for uh, agents that speak the English language. Our first guest for the evening is Alek Tan. Alek Tan has been with Centermac Realty for 5 years or longer. He's one of the few original uh, students from my class, and he's been with me for 5 years. Excellent, excellent agent. He is a millennial. So as you can see how young he is a millennial. All right. So Alek, he is from the Diamond Bar Walnut area. Tonight he's going to be sharing with us some interesting discussion on the recent transactions that he was involved in. 1031 exchange. I'm sure a lot of you guys that have not done a 1031 exchange will be interested in hearing what Alek have to say tonight. Okay. Uh, uh, and then our second guest, everybody knows her by now. She's from our San Diego area. Her name is Jean Riley, also an excellent, excellent agent. I can't say enough about her. She's got a lot to share with us. So she is guest number 2 tonight. Okay, without further ado, let me go ahead and give the stage to Alek so he can start talking to us. All right, Alek, I'm giving you the stage. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what you're going to share with us tonight and then take us into your content for tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Kenny, and hello, everyone. I'm going to talk a little bit about the market, a little bit about the Hacienda Heights market, and then about 1031, and then end it off with what you can do to improve your buyer's offer. Kenny, are you able to put the slides up?
Of course, let's go ahead and forward
Here we
the
go.
slide. As you can see, he is a Centermac agent and specialization, he does a buy and sell experience, 1031 exchange, staging, and photography. All right. Okay, take it away.
So what Kenny was talking about is I'm a realtor for over 5 years, based in LA, but I travel for my clients across LA, Orange County, and Inland Empire. So I'm super mobile. And as a millennial, I'm really good with technology. So a little bit about my background before going into this market is that I have experience in flipping homes, remodeling, staging, photography, even Airbnb superhosts, working with clients to purchase their first home, commercial leases, and even financial planning beyond just real estate transactions. So I really do pride myself as a millennial, always being available to my clients, responding quickly, and I find it very important to stay on top of the market. So I'm able to predict the fluctuations, to keep my clients safe from all legal aspects and be there every step of the way. So I do recognize that we've entered this coronavirus lockdown. There's a lot of uncertainty on both sides, and a little bit of background. Back in March 2020, I was already in the middle of escrow as a listing agent, where both the sellers and the buyers were uncertain about the market. So questions they were asking, should we continue with escrow? Should we let the buyer cancel escrow? I've walked my client through the scenarios and explained the options calmly, reviewed the contingency removals, and I pushed forward with closing escrow. It turned out both the seller and the buyer were very happy. So I bet in hindsight, it was the best decision too. So looking at today's hottest national housing market, it's definitely a good choice. So with so few homes in the market, I'm sure there are a few home shoppers praying for the LA housing market to crash, even though long-term trend of prices keeps going up and up. So here on this housing snapshot, we have the Southern California housing, where we see existing home sales increased 23% year to year, which is a 16% change year to date, meaning that home sales increased compared to last year with the median home prices at $705,000, up 20% compared to last year. So the market has a lot of anxious buyers picking up properties as soon as they hit the market, getting the offer accepted, and opening escrow within 8 days on the market. Kenny, on the next slide.
Of course.
Thank you.
All right.
So sales growth of existing single family homes is bouncing in a double digits, where a lot of transactions are happening as high as 23%. This means that sales activities are where most of the tension is at. Means there's more lending activity, more home searching, and more homeowners getting keys to finding their forever homes. This is mainly due to the housing shortage of inventory, record low interest rates, and a buying frenzy. Unless we have some kind of like magic where we just all of a sudden stock up on inventory with new homes, there's little reason to expect a crash in the LA housing market. For the next slide.
Of course.
If you're curious about where most of the California home sales activities are occurring, almost 50% of real estate transaction activities are happening in Southern California as of March 2021. And if you break down the prices in 3 price ranges from $0 to $500,000, that sales growth decreased 32%. But from $500,000 to $1 million, taking up majority of the sweet spot activities of sales growth at 42%, and sales of existing homes over $1 million pricing has 26% compared to the previous years. So this means homes that are $500,000 or more are where most of the sales activity is happening. Next slide.
Of course.
Where if you review the California median price from 2005 to now, the median price as of March 2021 is at $759,000, up 24% from the previous year. It's still a seller's market, and home prices have reached new record high due to tight supply. Next slide.
Of course.
So hypothetically, if there was a crash caused by this rumored coronavirus-related foreclosures and everyone had to sell at the same time, then prices could drop. However, with the continued government support to keep us out of another Great Recession, most of the homeowners are qualifying for the mortgages based on their incomes, and they have a larger equity cushion than average homeowners. As mentioned previously, the biggest driver is this 30-year mortgage rate, a fixed interest rate that home buyers would pay if they were to take out a loan lasting for 30 years. So this shows that mortgage payments have had the largest growth. In this pandemic, the job losses mostly haven't touched the high income earners. So we're seeing a lot more savings increasing and these folks are seeking out homes. So it also helps increase more sales with technology. Being millennial, there's a lot of video tours happening, either recorded or conducted, making it increasingly easier and comfortable for a homeowner or future homeowners to buy a home on a property that they have not seen. But as a listing agent, I still prefer no blind offers. Next slide.
Yes.
So in Hacienda Heights is where one of the recent sales that I've had, but I want to tell you guys a little bit more about this place. There is a population of 55,000 folks in this eastern part of San Gabriel Valley, known as the second largest city by population in LA County. They also have like top public schools, flourishing retail centers, and it's really great to raise family in this beautiful hillside city. Hacienda Heights real estate market is actually very, very competitive. The median list price of homes was $728,000, trending up 10% from 2020. So the list price per average per square feet is about $423, and the median sales price was at $485,000. This is a data point that was just across 95 homes for sale in the market. So on the next slide, You'll see
Yes,
that given that the trends, this does validate my recent Hacienda Heights transaction at 1534 Hinnon Avenue, where I was the listing agent and it closed and sold last month. This was also a 1031 exchange, which I'll dive into a little bit deeper. In this market, I looked at the comparables of this property to prepare for the listing, and I thought we were on the high side of listing this at $549,000. So that's about $558 per square feet. Then I received over 15 offers within the first weekend and open escrow within 8 days, ultimately closing this deal at $581,000, 32 over asking. So I was able to not only help my client facilitate the 1031 exchange, I was also able to get them over asking. Next slide.
of course.
But I think for most of the folks here is, what is a 1031 exchange? 1031 exchange is a huge benefit for the sellers, but not to be treated as an investment but to be treated as investment property. It's got its name from the IRS code section 1031, where you may actually defer your capital gain taxes by swapping one investment property for another investment property. Interestingly, in this case, if this is your first time performing a 1031 exchange, you can still take advantage of this IRS code. This beautiful Hacienda Heights home that I worked on was owner occupied and was purchased years ago. And this is the first time they want to perform a 1031. So converting from an owner's occupied to an investment property. So what happens after you close escrow, perform 1031? Can the owners live in this investment property? The answer is no. So what's even more interesting is that, where did the owners go? They already had another property to live in. So we were able to actually close on investment property, and they were able to rent it out afterwards, and then they have the second home to live in. So another fun fact is, with the 1031, most folks think that you can buy a like for one property, but you can actually purchase two or more properties in 1031 if you choose to, even if others stipulate that it's only for one. And the benefit of 1031 exchange is having a specialist throughout your escrow process to ensure that your paperwork is in order. So what that means is that you can roll over the gains from one piece of property to another and another without any limits how many times you perform this 1031. And so the very important piece is that you got to focus on the number of days, the first 45 days and the next 180 days. In the first 45 days, you need to designate the replacement property where the second escrow or the second property will receive the cash from the first sale. Keep in mind, you can actually still designate a few properties so long as you eventually close on one of those properties. And by day 180 days, you have to close on that new property. Otherwise, you're likely to pay the taxes. So ultimately, this is a great tax deferred strategy to help build your wealth. If you want to learn more, feel free to reach out to Kenny as well, and he'll tell you more about the strategy. Next slide.
Of course.
So things to consider when you're offering at or above the asking price in this slide. Here is a chart by counties of the average percentage over asking price to factor in your decision making. You can see in San Diego is about 70% over asking, whereas LA is not too far behind at 65% over asking. Then you have San Bernardino, Riverside, City of Orange, about 60% over asking. So if you can actually figure out what your best strategy is when you make those offers, you should be asking yourself if you know what the best if you know what the best way to go for this for your new offers. So the best time to, if you're even hesitant on the sideline whether you should enter this market, I always advise them saying, to buy the right house is for yourself, and regardless of what time it is or what market pressure, you still need to find your new place if you need to go for finding the right home. So be prepared. Number one is always reach out to your lender and get a pre-approval letter. get your proof of funds organized, and talk to your realtor on expectations of the offer package before viewing and submitting an offer. Other than that, next slide.
Of course.
Thank you. If you have any questions about 1031 LA market, feel free to reach out to me at my email at alek.tan@centermac.com.
All right, Alek.tan@centermac.com it is. If you have any questions, feel free to email Alek. So the big question is, what's the best strategy for a seller in this market to get the best price? Is it to price higher and then hopefully negotiate down to something that you're happy about, or to start with something a little lower to get a bidding war going, so you hopefully you can get them to bid up to a price that you want. So my first guess is Alek Tan. I want to hear what Alek's suggestions for sellers who want to get the best price for their home.
Well, I'll actually go with your option two, where you kind of price it competitively with the market, but with enough cushion below competitive market price so that there's a lot more eyeballs, not only making it hot on other real estate platforms, but they'll also come over and even give you an offer so that you have more working space. But if you ever get into a scenario where you're in this hot market, overpriced with zero offers after your first weekend, then you're in a weaker position where you have to like lower the price. And even before you go ahead and list the property online for everyone to see, there's a lot of preparation work, such as tidying up your home, um, fixing some of the low-hanging repairs, and getting it to photo ready so that at least the sellers can start building that emotion in terms of the preparation and expectation when everyone's ready to go live. So I would say the option two, where you say price a little bit lower and then just wait and see your emails blow up afterwards.
Yeah.